Add another observation. Following on from the last calibration videos, we have now technically completed the calibration, but with only one observation. If we look at the camera, under Profile, we have a lens profile and an alignment profile. The alignment profile is the tracking calibration, so all the tracking offsets, pivot points, tracking to camera, and maybe also scaling to match everything to the screen. Here we have the lens profile. If we select this and click on Select Target, it opens this view, and in the lower left corner we can see we have one calibration step. The same applies if we go into the camera. Back to Tools, open this one, we see a similar view. Right now we have just a single observation, and this observation is done in the lower left corner. On this grid, left to right represents zoom, and from bottom to top we have the focus range. For lenses that can change zoom and focus, it is a good idea to take multiple observations at different zoom and focus steps to generate a good understanding of how the lens behaves throughout its ranges. Some lenses might require more observations than others. You can see here we have one calibration done with focus and zoom at 0, 0. The next step is now to zoom in and take a new calibration. Let's start with around 20%. Note this doesn't have to be exact, the system will measure whatever value you put the zoom to. Now that's zoomed in, let's press Capture again. This pop-up will come up when you're doing a new zoom or focus calibration, just to warn you that it's changed, which could be very handy if you've accidentally knocked zoom or focus. Let's click OK. As our screen is technically already calibrated, we don't need to see the full LED wall, so we don't need to see all surfaces. The important thing is we have different angles, so we will move the camera around a bit to get some other angles, but technically we don't need to scan the whole wall again. Okay, that should be enough for now, as the panel is already well covered. So we can click on the Calibrate Play button, which creates a new observation. Let's have a look now in the distortion viewer. And we see this is also a good match at 20% zoom. But what we don't know now is how good the calibration is in the middle of these observations. So we know we're good at 0 and at 20%, but what about 10%? Let's check this, go to the camera, and you can see the zoom setting here. Let's zoom out. Now if you look at it, you can see there's a small amount of distortion. At this point you have to decide whether this is good enough for your production in terms of quality. If not, you can do another calibration at this zoom and focus level as well.